Hey Hotties, how you healing? How you feeling? I'm Zenzi, and this is Hotties Heal. First, I'd like to start by saying welcome or welcome back if you are not a new subscriber. If you are a new subscriber, here on Hotties Heal, we're hot people who heal, obviously. If you're healing, you're a hot person, and that is my motto. Not only is it my motto, it should be your motto too. But regardless, if you're here, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you're on the healing journey, and I'm grateful that you're choosing to spend your time with me. So, without further ado, let's get into the topic of today's video. And the overarching theme is about being intentional, but what really made me think about this was that trend that took over the internet and also just probably people's everyday lives and their speech, and that is very mindful, very demure, very cutesy. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hated this trend, even though I couldn't help but say it sometimes. But the difference between me saying it and well, not everybody else, but a lot of the people who were saying this is that they really don't know what it means to be demure or mindful. So what is being demure? Demure. I feel like every time you say it, you have to say it like that if you get the nanny reference. But yeah, being demure is about being shy and modest and reserved, and I personally am none of those things. I like to live my life out loud and enjoy it, and I think everyone else should too. Like, what's the purpose of life if not to live it? And it's okay to be shy, of course, and there's a level of modesty that should be required in everyone. Well, that's a bit of a blanket statement, but there are certain times for certain things to be appropriate. But for the most part, I really don't feel like being demure is something that we should strive for. We are here to live life and enjoy it, and nothing about enjoying life's pleasures is really that demure, unless you're just dipping your toe in for the first time. But once you're in it, you're in it. And let's be real, gals, not many of you are demure. We could all use a bit more mindfulness. And I know all the girls are cutesy. We don't have to argue about that. Aside from everyone saying that they're demure and really not being demure, it's, the phrase was paired with very mindful, and I love that for us. I want us to be mindful as a collective, but are we really being mindful? And if we're gonna say that we're being mindful, shouldn't we actually be mindful? Just my thoughts. But let's talk about what it means to actually be mindful. My definition of being mindful is being present and just being engaged in the current moment without any judgment. Easier said than done. So it sounds like, simple, but when you try to implement these things into your life, you really realize how much you are not acting in that way. But that's what it means to be mindful. Noticing when you are thinking about things beyond what's happening currently. Part of being mindful is thinking for yourself and being present in the moment, not worried and consumed about the what ifs or how another person is perceiving you, and just being authentic to you and how you feel in that moment. Yeah. Ultimately, it's about understanding that the only thing that's in your control is how you are showing up for yourself in real time. Anything else is completely out of your control and therefore is not very mindful. And it's not cutesy. It's not cutesy for anyone because you're not enjoying yourself if you're so worried about what's going on outside of you, right? I think one of the most mindful and intentional things that we can do for ourselves is really truly get to know ourselves, understand how you work as an individual and how you feel about certain things, because when you can understand that, you can really understand how you're showing up in the world, not only for yourself, but inside of relationships, no matter what kind of relationship that may be. By knowing yourself, you are becoming responsible for your own emotions. It's about seeing the ways you show up in the world and knowing not only when you can do better, but when you deserve better. Sometimes it's a little bit of both. Living intentionally is very mindful, not demure at all, and certainly very cutesy. By focusing on the here and now, mindfulness helps to reduce stress, enhance emotional regulation, and promote a deeper understanding with ourselves and our experiences, thereby creating a deeper connection with the world around us, which can only enhance life as a whole. Because life is about connection. Life is about experience. Life is about connection. Life is about growth. Anytime we do not center those things in our lives personally for self, that is when I believe that things are led astray. And of course, there are things under these categories, like these are umbrella terms because other things can fall under this. But it's important to live a mindful life, always seeking to grow and connect with yourselves, connect with others, connect with the world at large. And that means beyond what can be seen or communicated with directly. And I'm not saying like some woo-woo-ish, I'm just saying nature is also a huge part of that. And if you do believe in a higher power, that is also a part of that as well. So if you can boil it down to those three things, I think that you can really focus on just knowing how to live a more balanced life. This can encourage us as a whole to implement more acceptance and compassion, both towards ourselves and others. This fosters a great sense of connection and well-being, as I said, but sometimes you really just gotta hammer it in so that you get it. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't at least give you an option for how you can do this, how you can practice mindfulness, and how you can start to just be a little more balanced and at ease in the day-to-day. Very mindful, very cutesy. And that is just to take 2 to 5 minutes. I mean, if 5 minutes feels like a big feat to you, try for 2 minutes. Just sit with yourself quietly, and I promise if you fight through the noise and you allow yourself to relax, you will find stillness, you will find peace, and you will find the answers you seek. You'll understand how you can, number one, check in with yourself and understand more how you're feeling and where these feelings are coming from, therefore allowing you to navigate those triggers and the discomfortability as well as the highs, because it's good to remain balanced. If we go too high, there's always a crash, and if we go too low, it's hard to get back up. It's all about being balanced and intentional, and that will always be mindful, always be cutesy. And as I said, I'm never aiming for demure, rarely. It's okay to be shy, as I said, but it's better just to live out loud and put yourself out there. Anywho, that's all I have for you guys today. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.